Hey guys, Kevin Gain here with Team Lucy Racing. Just wanted to we're going to talk to Ryan Dunford here at Team Lucy Racing. He's the product manager here. He does all the 8-scale stuff. We're here for episode 14 of In Touch with TLR. This week we're not going to do a tech tip, as you know. We're going to talk to Ryan. We're going to kind of get a feel for what the PDs do here at Team Lucy Racing, and let everybody inside on what we do here. So first of all, I want to bring something up. Somebody asked last week as a question was, how come we don't do these videos? How come we don't do these videos and just post them? Do the video and then post them. Why do we do it live? Well, the reason why we do it live is so we can interact with everybody. You guys can ask us questions during the videos. We can answer those questions during the videos. And the videos are still uploaded to the Team Lucy Racing YouTube channel, where you can find all the videos at any time. They're all on there right now, so they're all available to you. Yeah, so let's get into it. So Ryan, thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Glad to have you. So this week we're talking to you about, you're the product manager for 8-scale, correct? For 8-scale and a lot of other
things.
Stuff.
Yeah. But my desk's full of lots of stuff here. So.
Yep. I'm going to be monitoring what we got going on a little bit. So, what does a product manager do?
Oh, the quick version. Essentially, we take a project from idea or inception all the way through shipment and getting out to customers and beyond. Because even past that, then stuff gets out to 1,000 or 100,000 people, and suddenly something might crop up that you got to take care of. An issue might happen that you didn't find on the first time you did your testing, and so it's pretty much, we handle the product for the life of the product, from it being just an idea to it being dead in the water.
Gotcha. So when your boss comes in and he's like, okay, hey guys, we've gone to a bunch of races and it's time, we need a new 5.0 or 8X or 2.0 of whatever vehicle it might be. I mean, what's the process? I mean, where does it start? I mean, what's the first thing you do when he tells you, all right, it's time, we got to start working on a new project?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know that it's ever has a very succinct starting point and ending point. When we deal with the racing stuff, a lot of the times we're gathering data as we're going along. So if we're running a 1.0 of a product, we're talking to the team guys, we're talking to the A-level guys, the B-level guys, the C, whatever you want to call them as far as levels go. We're talking to our customers about them. What did you think about this? What do you think about the other products out on the market? To get the idea set together of, okay, well, if we're going to make a new version of this, what do we want to accomplish with it?
Right.
Do we want it to have more grip or land? I mean, talking about racing stuff here today, so do we want it to have more grip or to land better or to have more steering or to just be easier to drive or so on and so forth? I mean, it goes on forever.
Right. Yep. So a lot of our notes that we bring back from, the races throughout the year are all taken into consideration, and, we work on things that are, having problems with or whatnot,
Yeah, usually we'll put the notes together, and then what we'll do is initially we'll call a meeting of just the closer knit people, the people like our team manager Kevin that's involved in it. Some of our brand ambassadors sometimes get involved. Todd will be there, obviously, because he runs the brand. We'll usually have an engineer, 2 engineers, all the engineers, depending on what we're going after. We'll call a quick meeting. Here's kind of our thoughts. Here's what we kind of want to accomplish. And then what we'll do past that is we'll also go outbound to at least our A-level drivers, or maybe some other drivers that we appreciate their feedback on, and get current direct feedback from right then and there. What they see going on in the market, what they see our biggest competitors doing, where they see we could move forward in, things of that nature. And that kind of starts the summation of getting a project down on paper, and this is what we want to do with it.
Yep.
Now how do we do it?
So when how the process works is, then we start testing a little bit, right? And then we kind of figure out what test parts you guys need to make, right?
Yeah, we'll get together, We'll get stuff drawn up usually, or sometimes, honestly, we'll get guys together and we'll try making parts ourselves.
Yep.
You know, if I can take an arm and drill a new hole in it, or glue X to Y and make something a little different just to try it, or try a different camber link location, drill some holes. Honestly, a lot of it starts there. It's the old school hobbyist. That's when we get to bring that out and make stuff. And if there's something we can't make, that's when we have to get engineers involved.
And then the vendor normally will machine the parts for us, and we'll get parts in, machine parts, and we'll go out and do more testing.
Yeah.
How long typically, I mean, I know it varies, you know, every project varies, and it also varies on, you know, how things are going during the process. You know, if things are connecting, if the dots are getting connected together, then things happen quicker. But what's the average time it takes, you know, for, you know, a project, whether it's ground up or just a new?
Well, they're different. I mean, a ground up, you know, project is going to take a lot more testing.
Right.
Because when you're going after a ground up project, something that's brand new, you're trying to essentially break the mold. You're trying to break what you have currently break out of it and move to the whole next level, because you think you've exhausted what you have.
Yep.
That time, I mean, honestly, that could take 3 months if it's like a series of aha moments, and you're like, whoa, this is great, this is great, this is great, and that happens. Sometimes. It could take 6 months to a year sometimes with a brand new platform. But a lot of times, honestly, it's a little bit of tinkering that's kind of gone on, knowing something's kind of around
coming up
the corner. So it's this continual tinkering, and then it's like, okay, now we have this brunt of our testing. And that's kind of where scheduling comes into play. You know, we do work for Horizon Hobby. It is a corporation. You know, a lot of times we'll say, well, we need this much time, and they'll say, well, we'd really like the product at this time. And that's where something like we deal with what's called Microsoft Project over here.
I'm not sure if you guys can see that.
Yeah, it's not. It looks like a bunch of gibberish, to be honest, but it's a program that allows us to put all the different aspects of our job into it, the engineer's job into it, and try to spit out a more accurate date. To see what's viable, what, you know, and can it be done? And can it be done in the proper way to be able to accomplish what we want to accomplish and still hit the time frame? And if not, well, that's when that's my job, is to go back to Todd and say, Todd, you know what, I feel we could get this with this much time, but if you give me 2 weeks, 2 months extra, maybe we can get this out of it. And so then, you know, that's kind of Todd's decision. Time.
I know for me, like, one of the biggest challenges that we have when we're doing testing is we can never do testing during racing environments, which is a big challenge for most all companies. You know, it's you can't really do the testing that you really want to do, you know, at all the races. It just doesn't work out that way. But I know that's one of the challenges that, you know, we have, and I know everybody pretty much has.
Think of today. We're here on Facebook Live talking to what could be dozens of people or thousands of people if they wanted to log in. If you go test something at the track that's out at a big race, it'll be out to 10, 20, 30,000 people the next day. And then there goes your idea. Right?
No, that's the challenge.
Competitor picks it up, and maybe they think it's better for their car too, and so it's
also, guys, if you guys have any questions for us throughout the video, just throw them in the comments right now. I'll go through here. We'll do a little Q&A at the very end of this, and we'll answer all the questions, anything that you might have. I see some questions already coming in, but we'll get to all your guys' questions when we're done here. But let's jump back into it, Ryan.
So after that, so now we've done all of our testing.
All the testing's done.
We say this is what we want. Then it's more meetings, because it's important that everybody fully understands what we're going after. And when I say everybody, I mean management, PD, and engineering. And by PD, I mean my group. There's 6 of us here in this office of product managers or product developers. And then you get with engineering, you talk to them about here are the things that we're going after, here's what we tested, and honestly, a lot of times engineering's also involved in the testing, so they kind of know what's going on already. Right. I mean, we hope they're involved, and it's very helpful when they are, at least to me, that's how I feel. And then we say, yep, this is what we want. Here's all the pickup points, design it in TLR language.
Got it.
Then we try to tell them we want it in only a day, and they try to tell us we need it in a year, and we come to some agreement in the middle, right. Which is part of it. I mean, just like me as a PD, I'd always love more time to test. Right. Well, them as an engineer, they'd always love more time to design, because it's their baby, you know. It's just like all of us. It's personal to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So now they've designed it, and then we get it off to a vendor. They quote out, they get us mold layouts, they quote it out for us. We go as a PD, then I take it, I put all that into a system, and then I go try to sell it to the company. Hey company, it's gonna cost $150,000 to make this product. Just to use big round numbers. Here's how many we think we're going to sell, here's how much margin, you know, so on and so forth. Just a bunch of numbers at that point. And numbers, you put all the features in there, you put all this good information to try to sell it to the company. The company then, hopefully, if you've done your job, says, yes, we agree with it, we're going to make the money off of it we feel we want to make. It's a good project, good return on our money. Just like anything else, it's always return on investment.
Right.
Always. And they say go. We tell the vendor go. Months later, unfortunately, we start to have parts trickle in. Sometimes metal stuff comes first. Sometimes plastic stuff comes first.
You have some parts over there, I think, right? You show us?
Yeah. Let's look. So, for instance, what do we got here? We have what is a tree? Let's put that up there. This is what it looks like coming right out of a mold. This is a tree from, what is the 8X? You got a front chassis brace, a rear chassis brace, the pedestal mount for the chassis brace, some brake rotor channels, and then some mounts for the throttle servo. So that's what goes on that. And that exists like that because all of these are expected to use a similar material.
Right. So when they come on a tree like that, they all come out of the same mold, right?
Yeah. This is one mold. So one big chunk of metal injected looks like this.
Right.
And then from that, this is, as you can see, we give it a mold number, how many are in here, the material type, and then this is a T5 of the part. What that means is this is the 5th revision of this one group of parts.
One group of parts.
For a number of reasons. It could be a hole size, it could be a length, it could be, we tried different materials, all kinds of things. We take those, and then we start comparing them, right? It's hard to see, again, it's all gibberish. What you essentially have on this side is the drawing, or the 2D drawing of what this part is. In this case, it is the front chassis brace. I'll break this off the tree. This is this part, right? Looks mostly like it, thank goodness. They did it. But you've got all these little numbers on here. These are all things that need to be measured to make sure that this part fits the car properly. And this is all stuff that between these days, it's kind of between product development and engineering that we measure all this. But then there's this sheet down here where you look through and you take all 10 parts and you measure them all and make sure that they fit in the confine, the values that they're supposed to. And then after that, you take these parts and you do the real life testing. You bolt them into a car. You go run them a whole bunch. And then the part that a lot of customers don't know about would be past running them. We then take a brand new car, and honestly, for most of us, this is one of the hardest parts of our job because of all the time and effort and everything we put into this. Then we go drop it onto concrete from a minimum of usually 6 feet like the fifth scale, obviously it's a bigger car, right?
Yep.
So that one actually got dropped from 12 feet and 15 feet.
So what are you doing when you're dropping it?
When we're dropping it, you're dropping it straight on each corner, on the top, on the bottom. You're basically trying to make sure, you're trying to have a level playing ground for telling how that vehicle compares usually to the previous vehicle. So if we take an 8 4.0 and I go out there and drop it, and I can get up to, because you take and you do 2 or 3 drops from each level on each corner, right? And then you move up a foot, and then do it again, and then move up. You basically go until you break nearly every part on the car.
Right.
And you compare it, and you try to determine from just a breakage standpoint, a durability standpoint, does this match our existing one? Yeah, it's just another gauge rather than just, well, these 5 people drove the car and it never broke, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
It's that other gauge that you can use to compare it to your car, to maybe a competitor's car, because we can easily go by. I'm sure everybody owns everybody else's stuff now. You know, if we drop another brand's car and it breaks at 2 feet on the right front and ours breaks, we think it should break at 5 feet, but it breaks at 4 feet, well, we're double the distance of our nearest competitor, biggest competitor. Okay, it might be okay to ship. Let's drive it and make sure it doesn't break, and you know, just another comparison.
So outside of the vehicle itself, you also have to manage the box arts and all of that, the manuals.
Joy like this. Have to choose a trim scheme. Have to get tires on it. Have to get a hold of an engine. You know, you got to make it look like a real car to take pictures of it. You know, RTRs are a little bit different because they come with a trim scheme on them.
They come built.
Right, they come built. Like, for example, here's a recent RTR that we did that came out. This is what's called the Tenacity DB. So you can see the trim scheme that's on this, all the stickers that are on this. This went through, as you can see by these images over here. Let me actually pull it to this side so you can see it. You might not be able to see that. Yeah, you guys probably, but just for instance, so you understand, we go through, there's some stickers, and then there's a bunch of colors, and then there's it in another color. There's a whole bunch of colors, and then it's like, how far out of the realm do we want to go with coloring? And then what happens here at Horizon is most of these decisions are made by group. My taste in something obviously is my taste in it.
Right.
I like fluorescent yellow. Yeah, it's not really a great color for an RTR, to be honest. It's not a really popular color. It doesn't sell a lot. But for me, I'm older and it's easy for me to see on the track. An RTR, you know, everybody here always votes on pretty much every scheme that we put out. So that we can try to come out with what is the best, most appealing product to the most amount of people. Again, we're all humans too. We're not perfect. Sometimes something's going to come out and you're like, wow, that looks really good. And the 90% of the population sees it and they're like, wow, that thing looks terrible. You know, and vice versa. So it's unfortunately, that's one of the more difficult parts, where you take all this time and effort and you put this thing out into the market and everybody's like, oh, that thing's a turd. And you're like, it's super deflating. And it's not, it's just all the effort everybody here, and that's just even this office. Then we have our purchasing group that does all of the orders for us. We have, you know,
our marketing group
that gets it all out there for us and puts it out for us. We've got, you know, there's just, I can't
a lot of departments.
I could talk about all the groups forever. I mean, we got our customer service group who sits on the other side of that. Shout out to those guys. Those guys are part of what makes Horizon what it is.
Yeah, the customer
they're
service
the after the fact, you know, and again, speaking to that, that's what this little bag is sitting on my desk. So speaking to my job and the after fact, these are differentials from one of our RC cars that I put out as it was my project. These are from a Tenacity, and a particular customer had problems with them. So our customer service team, I instructed them, they sent out all new parts to the customer that I put together for them. In the meantime, though, I wanted those back so I can figure out what's wrong with them, so nobody else has that problem again, and we can make the fixes and the changes, because there's no reason. It shouldn't have this problem. Why is it having this problem?
Exactly.
So, I mean, just that's what we try to do here at Horizon, is to make sure that we have the best products out there. And that's just part of it, is making sure that we own it till it's dead.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, thank you, Ryan. Let's get into some Q&A now. I've seen there's been quite a few different questions coming through. So if you guys have any questions for us right now, throw them in the comments. We'll hang out for a little while. We'll shoot through some of these questions, and we'll see what we got. So let's see.
Usually we go back and check them, you know, a day or two afterward too, folks. So always feel free to drop some questions in there.
Losi 8X. Yes, that is the Losi 8X.
Well,
if that's what you're asking.
This is the TLR 8X.
The TLR 8X.
We use that just so you guys fully understand. I mean, Losi's the brand that we've separated out to be our RTR, the more basher side of things, and then TLR, which is just Team Losi Racing. That's what we use to signify our racing. Usually our kits, most of the time, are TLR. But we've done some kits under Losi too.
Toby, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like the videos. When is the e-truggy or e-buggy coming out?
You know, there is a logical progression to things, and we're always busting our tails to work on everything. And to be honest, I race this stuff like every other weekend. If it were up to me, I'd have all of the 8X vehicles sitting here right now today. But as you've seen, there's a little bit of work that goes into each of them, so there's always going to be separation. And just like I started off, it's got to be sold to the company each time. Just because we have one doesn't mean we have the next. It just, you sell them. Now, granted, we're not going to have not a full lineup of vehicles, but it does take time, folks.
But we're fully committed to all the classes, guys. Like I've told you guys before, you know, obviously it's difficult for us. I know you guys want to know about anything that's new that's coming.
And we would love to tell you.
Yeah, when we can put it out there that we have something new, as soon as we can tell you, we tell everybody. So like I said, and I'll always say, we're always committed to the classes that we race and we support. Nothing is changing that way in any way at all. We're fully committed to them. Like Ryan expressed, you know, there's just time involved. But we are working on everything. Will there be optional bodies for the 8X?
Well, we will only have the one body, at least initially. You never know. I mean, if we see a need to do another one, we will, but hopefully some of our racing brethren, we might call them, Proline, J Concepts, you know, Raw Speed, any of those groups out there that make the aftermarket bodies, you know, if they see enough pull for it, they'll make one. So,
so good question. What is the easiest way to check gear mesh? The best way to check gear mesh is to hold the spur gear, whether it's a 2-wheel drive or an 8-scale vehicle, and either rock the clutch bell back and forth a little bit, or your pinion gear back and forth, or you can hold your pinion. You just want to hold one of the two gears. For 10 scale, like there's no like set, like you take a piece of paper and run it through the gear mesh or anything. On 10 scale, you want just a little bit of backlash, not very much. You want to roll the spur gear over, you know, halfway, check it again, you know, just kind of keep moving around. Not all spur gears are perfectly round. There's just no way. They'll be just slightly out of round. So if you just barely kind of continue to check it all the way around and find the high spot and make it a little loose there, you'll be good. On 8 scale, you know, you want to have a little bit more backlash than you would on a 10 scale vehicle.
And naturally, you've got a larger gear pitch.
You have a larger gear pitch, and you have a lot more chassis flex in that area. So there's more situations where it can come into a binding spot, but you don't want to have a huge amount of gap. You want to have still just a relatively tight gear mesh, but have some slop. We'll shoot a video on this and talk about that. That's a good one. We'll do that maybe in the coming weeks, but I think that's a good question.
Yeah, it's hard, to be honest. With our RTR vehicles, it's one of the hardest things for the vendors, for us to explain to the vendor what's the right amount of, how should the gear mesh be
if I was to think about it and I was checking the gear mesh on an 8 scale, I would want it to move about 1 millimeter total.
Yeah, if you're holding one of the items
and you rock the other, it'd be 1 millimeter, I would say.
Yeah, on an 8 scale, usually you're holding the spur and you're rocking the clutch bell, and yeah, millimeter, maybe 1.5 mil.
Yeah, right? Give or take a little bit.
The other thing too, to understand about gear mesh, if you pull the throttle on your car after you've set your gear mesh, and it's loud and it stops really fast, then it's too tight. If it's really, really loud like a cheese grater, but you let off the throttle and it doesn't stop too fast, then it's too loose typically.
Right. That's a good way to look at it. Benjamin, thank you, man. Yeah, we work really hard here. Everybody does in this office. Is there a new truggy coming? Same thing as before, guys. We're really, really committed to all of the classes that we race and support. We will never let you guys down when it comes to that stuff, so it's just a work in progress with everything, always. I mean, when one car comes out, the next day it comes out, our minds are turning for what we can make better. I mean, that's how we work in here, so we're always thinking, it's not like we ship a car and, we go on vacation. We ship a car and the next day, literally, I mean, we're thinking of things or things that we wanted to put into it that we just couldn't.
Or things we want to try.
And we're just working through the process. Is the car novice friendly? Very much so.
Yeah, I think so.
Very much so. This car, that was the goal with this car, was to make it, more drivable, but still have the pace that a pro needs.
Yeah, also from a working on it standpoint too. I mean,
very much so.
Easier to work on. You've got all the metric hardware in it now, so that helps you just use all of your existing tools usually.
Brian, yes, that's one thing we put a lot of effort into, is the durability of our cars. I think we've definitely done that with the new one. We've continued to do that on all of our electric stuff. It's one thing that we have a lot of pride in, is making sure our stuff is super strong and durable. Is there maybe a new 8-scale electric truggy in the works? The same thing, guys. Like I said earlier, we're committed to everything. I've got the original first, but hate the fact I can't get a decent supply of spares in the UK. Philip. Yes. If you know Francesco, there's ways you can there's ways to reach out and get items. A lot of people also in Europe order through A-Main Hobbies. You can always possibly, I think you can order through horizonhobby.com to get items that you need.
Yeah.
There's ways to get parts
to certain countries.
Yeah. But the original first 8, some of the spare parts for that might be much more difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
to get.
Typically, just so you guys all understand, I mean, after we've discontinued a vehicle, we will usually, at a minimum, support it for 2 years.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, anything that's left over past that is just because it's just left in stock.
Right.
Yep. Especially when we've come out with something new. So.
Yep. Is Ryan going to try and race Surf City?
I would love to try to race Surf City. It's been a little while since I've run my electric cars, so we'll see. We'll see if I can get in.
Jordan, thanks. Yeah, I think the body looks great too. Jordan said the body looks great.
Thanks, Jordan. That's Brian Kinney.
Okay, when will TLR 8X be available to the public? You speak of A, B, and C drivers.
Let me answer the first question. Right now, we are looking at the second week of November to consumers, and that's the ETR. Given all the stuff we're working on, and honestly, we're making sure it's right.
Yep.
I know some of you probably saw the date move from the end of October to the second week of November, and it did move. It moved because we as a group decided it needed to be a little different, needed to be a little bit better.
Yeah. And not everything, it would be awesome. It'd be amazing. It'd be, if you could do something and have it just be perfect right away. There's sometimes when little things need you know, moved around or changed a little bit. And you know, we're just making sure that you guys, when you guys get the vehicle in your hands, it's going to be perfect. And I can guarantee that. When is the electric version of the 8X coming out? Is it still going to have the optional motor mount plates? Same thing, guys, I know. Same thing. We're committed to everything. As soon as we can tell you guys, we'll let you all know. And you can hear it here on this In Touch.
We'll be here to tell you.
Yep. 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive coming soon. Same thing, guys. We're super committed. We're going to be supporting everything always. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to get my hands on the X. Okay, when will the X be available? Oh, already did that one. Will there be a quick motor mount exchange? Motor mount for the 8X?
Hop-up parts. So we love to ship as many hop-up parts right off the bat with the car, so you guys can either use them or not use them. Obviously, it's up to you. We do all of our testing stock, and then we test the option parts.
Yep.
There will be some option parts that ship with the vehicle. Unfortunately, the quick change motor mount won't be one of them. We've gotten so used to working on this now and pulling out the top screws that the thought's still there to do one. We haven't 100% decided whether we're going to do it yet or not, to be honest.
Gotcha. Will the 4.0 body fit the new X?
No.
No, the body won't fit the car at all. Dean says, tell Ryan hi.
Hi, Dean.
Will you ever do a shaft drive, 4-wheel drive buggy, or Rodney? We will do whatever it takes to win. If that answers your question. Any plans for 1/10 scale e-truggy? You know, we haven't really thought about it. We've just seen the Technocar come out. We're not sure what to take of it. It's on our radar, but we don't have, obviously it's something we weren't really even expecting, so yeah, for the class to maybe be there, and the battery just went dead. Sorry guys, I'm going to set this down for a second. Whoa. Whoop. Whoop. Hey guys, sorry about that. It looks like my my gimbal went dead on us, so I will have to hold the phone here. That's funny. The thing was charging the whole time, all this morning. So, anyways, guys,
well,
yeah,
okay.
It's gonna be a little difficult here to finish off the video, but we've answered a bunch of questions today. Hopefully, we helped you guys all out. You guys kind of got a little bit of an idea of what Ryan does here as a PD. So we will actually kill it for today. I don't see anything else really on here, but yeah. So it's on our radar. The e-truggy is definitely on our radar. It's interesting, but we don't know exactly what to think of it yet, to be honest. So
it looks like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But fun doesn't always mean a lot of sales.
Right.
And when it comes down to it, we are here to make the company money. So.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you very, very much. Sounds good. We will see everybody next week. Also, just a reminder, you can find all these videos on the Team Velocity Racing YouTube channel. I know I'll bring it up again. There was the question last week why we do these videos live, just in case there's more people on right now. We do these videos live so we can talk with you guys, just like we did right now. We had a Q&A. You guys asked us questions. We answer your questions. It's more personable. That's what these are all about. That's what this whole goal is for us to be in touch with you guys, for you guys to be in touch with us.
And they're real.
They're real.
This is non-scripted. We're just talking with you
Yeah.
guys because we want you to
Exactly.
understand what we're doing.
If we just did videos and we shot them and then we posted them on there, there'd be no interaction. There'd be no interaction with you guys. So the whole point, like I said, was for us to be able to personally interact with all you guys, help you guys be better, you guys help us be better. So that's what the goal is.
Yeah,
so
if you have a question, we're going to be here next week to answer it too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, this will be up on YouTube later today. We will talk to you guys next week. See ya.